This presentation is intended to help demystify the OCI and summer recruitment application process generally and clarify some of the technical nuts and bolts of applying for OCIs in particular. As a starting point, what are OCIs? OCIs are on-campus interviews. The term applies when employers from a given jurisdiction travel to a specific campus to conduct short pre-screening interviews as part of their recruitment efforts. OCIs is a bit of a misnomer. In fact, most of these interviews occur off-campus in convention centers or hotels. OCIs are a screening tool for employers and students. They represent an approach to recruitment adopted by a defined group of employers. Looking at the numbers, fewer employers recruit through OCIs than employers who hire through more traditional means. Law students often think that OCIs are the be-all end-all of recruitment, but I can assure you that OCIs are not the only way to secure a summer job. In fact, I would suggest that there is nothing normal about OCIs. They represent a very specific, hyper-accelerated recruitment initiative that does not much resemble a typical job search. It is important to keep things in perspective. It often feels like everyone is participating in OCIs, so the perceived pressure to participate can be intense. What is important is that you make an informed choice about whether or not you want to participate. Carefully review all of the relevant documentation. Seriously consider whether you would like to work with any of the participating employers. Is the work environment what you're looking for? Are they doing work that you will find engaging? Do they deal with individuals or corporations? And who is it that you want to serve? Also take time to think about geography. Does the employer operate in a city you would like to live in? Be aware that different jurisdictions recruit at different times. For example, Toronto recruits in the fall and Ottawa recruits in the winter. After carefully analyzing what the participating employers have to offer, ask yourself again, do you want to work with any of the participating employers? If the answer is yes, then participate. If the answer is no, opt not to. About 1/2 of the U-Ottawa class chooses to participate in OCIs in any given year. To give you a broader perspective, about 1/3 of the class will secure articling positions through summer employment, both OCI and non-OCI jobs. Another third of the class will secure articling positions through the structured articling recruitment that happens during the summer immediately following second year. And another third of the class will secure articling positions during third year and the summer following graduation. If you have been paying attention, OCIs are not the be-all, end-all of recruitment. To get started, there are 3 key sources of information to become familiar with if you are participating in OCIs. The Toronto Summer Recruitment and OCI Instructions for 2L students, which is available through the source. The NELT Best Practices Guide, which is also available through the source, and the Law Society of Ontario's Toronto Summer Student Recruitment Procedures, which are available on the Law Society of Ontario's website. All of these documents can be found in the source document library as well. As the process unfolds and OCIs get closer, additional information will become available to you, such as interviewer lists and event checklists. You will be able to find these documents in the same section of the document library. As you navigate OCIs and summer recruitment, remember to be kind to each other. Many of you will choose to participate in this recruitment process, and many of you will choose not to. Of those who choose to participate, unfortunately, not everyone will be successful. Remember that discretion is the better part of valor. Celebrate your successes, but be aware that the person standing next to you may or may not be celebrating. If you choose to participate in OCIs, taking the time to be prepared is key. Review and make sure you understand all of the relevant documentation. Plan to have your resume and cover letter reviewed. Resume and cover letter specialists are available on a first-come, first-served basis all summer. If you are in Ottawa, book an appointment to meet with a specialist through the Appointments tab in the source. If you're not in the city this summer, you can email the CPDC to request an electronic review of your documents. The typical turnaround time is about 3 business days. As the application deadline approaches, the volume of reviews increases, as does the turnaround time. Plan to get your documents in early. If you cannot have your documents reviewed by the CPDC, get them reviewed by friends and family. A pro tip, especially if you're proofreading your own work, is to read the document backwards. You are much more likely to catch a typo reading backwards because your brain will not automatically fill in what it expects to see. Also remember that spell check will not catch an error that is a real word. For example, we had applications come in one year that described a fantastic experience for the Children's Make a Fish Foundation rather than the Children's Make a Wish Foundation. Fish instead of wish will not be caught by spell check. Now to the nuts and bolts. OCIs are a deadline-driven process, and you must adhere to the deadlines. There is the application deadline, a deadline for creating the record of employers you apply to in the source, a specific time that interview offers are released, a deadline to decline interviews, and request accommodations. Review all of the dates and deadlines, write them down, and keep them handy. Consider yourself informed and forewarned. Do not miss a deadline. Most, if not all, employers participating in OCIs will be accepting applications through the VI Law portal. Once the portal is open, you can submit your applications until the deadline. A word to the wise, the portal can get very slow on the last day. Plan to submit your applications early. The portal closes at the deadline, regardless of whether you are halfway through submitting an application. You can access the portal by clicking on the VI logo on this slide or through the source. If you get stuck, Google it. Google works for you too. For detailed instructions on using the portal, click on the help icon on this slide. The instructions are also available on the portal. A list of helpful tips and hints is included in the appendix in the Toronto Summer Recruitment and OCI instructions for 2L students. Here are some pro tips when using the portal. Name your documents carefully and clearly. Employers can see how you have named your documents and avoid the use of slang. Before Macmillan was Macmillan, they were Macmillan, Binch, and Mendelsohn. We used to call them McBinch. It would be really inappropriate to name the cover letter for Macmillan the McBinch cover letter because the employer can see that use of slang. Do not put up a test application to submit to an employer. In theory, you can edit it, but I rue the day that a student submits an application and at the same time an employer downloads that application, and therefore the employer has downloaded an application that the student intended to edit. Make sure that what you are submitting is your final version. Make sure that your transcripts are legible before you upload them. If you can't read them, the employer will not be able to read them either. If you're lucky, they will email to request a legible copy. Most, however, will simply file your application in the no pile. Keep a record of all of the employers you have applied to. This is not only a good practice, but you will be required to create an electronic record of all of the OCI employers you have applied to in the source. Remember, applications are submitted through the VI Law portal or as indicated in the employer job posting, not through the source. The source is how information about OCIs is managed. Not only is all of the relevant documentation in the source document library, but the source is how you will let the CPDC know which employers you have applied to, how the CPDC will let you know which employers would like to interview you during OCIs, and how you will receive your OCI schedule. There are several important steps that you must complete to participate in OCIs. Refer to the Toronto Summer Recruitment and OCI instructions for 2L students for details on these steps, and ensure that you do not miss any important steps or deadlines in this process. Please update your contact information in the source. This also includes making any updates to the way that you wish your name to appear to employers in materials prepared by the CPDC. We may be required to contact you during the recruitment period, and it is essential that we have up-to-date contact information. Having your parents' number at home in a different city when we're trying to reach you in the middle of the day and everyone is at work is not helpful. To update your contact information in the source, follow these steps. Once you log into the source, click on your initials on the top right-hand portion of the screen. From the drop-down menu that will appear, click on Personal Information under the Account menu. This will open up a personal data page where you can update your name as it is displayed in the source and your contact information. Once you have confirmed the information in the personal data section is correct, click the Save button to save any updates that you have made. Here is a pro tip for this or any recruitment process. Have your voicemail activated. Plan to have a professional greeting giving your name and confirming your number as of the application deadline. Once you submit your application, the employer has your contact information, and you want your greeting to leave a positive first impression. Once you have updated your contact information, the next step is to create an electronic record of all of the OCI employers you have submitted an application to. To participate in Toronto OCIs, you must inform the CPDC of which participating employers you have applied to and would like to meet with. You do this by creating the electronic record in the source. To start this process in the source, click on the OCI tab on the left-hand menu. This will open the On-Campus Interviews section. On the On-Campus Interviews page, ensure that the session field shows the proper OCI, in this case, Toronto. Now, all employers that are participating in OCIs at U Ottawa will be visible to you on that page. You create the electronic record of the employers you have applied to by clicking the Apply button. Ensure that the list you create is accurate. If you do not create a record that you have applied to an employer, that employer will not be able to interview you. If you have made a mistake, you can correct it by clicking on the Withdraw button. For more details on this process, refer to the appendix in the Toronto Summer Recruitment and OCI Instructions for 2L students. Keep in mind that employers who are not participating in OCIs at U Ottawa will not appear in the source. Keep a detailed list of all of the employers you have applied to, that is both OCI and non-OCI employers, for your own records. You will be advised of which of the employers that you have applied to are offering you interviews via the source. Reviewing your OCI offers from employers is straightforward. To review your OCI interview offers, access the On-Campus Interview section of the source. Ensure that the session field shows the proper OCI. In the Invitations column, you will see an indication of which employers would like to interview you. Where the invitation column indicates not invited, that employer is not offering you an interview. Where the invitation column has buttons indicating accept, pre-select, and decline, that employer is offering you an interview. We will get to what you need to do next shortly. Now that you have reviewed your OCI offers from employers, you need to decide which interviews you accept and which ones you will decline. You may not want to interview with all employers that offer you OCIs, regardless of whether or not you receive 2 OCI offers or 25 OCI offers. The ideal number of OCIs for a student is very personal, and it depends on your energy levels and what you are most comfortable with. If you're looking for guidance, don't hesitate to book an appointment with a career counselor in the CPDC. Opt to be strategic in deciding which employers you will meet. Any student cannot interview with more than 20 employers during OCIs. If you receive more than 20 OCI offers, you will have to choose which offers you are going to decline. Once you determine which employers you wish to interview with during OCIs and which interview offers you will decline, if any, you must advise the CPDC via the source. Completing this step is what allows the CPDC to schedule your interviews. If you do not complete this step fully, you will not be scheduled for any OCIs. The deadline to either accept pre-select, which means confirm your acceptance of an interview offer from an employer, or decline an interview is a strict one. Do not miss this deadline. To accept or decline OCI offers, access the on-campus interview section of the source. Ensure that the session field shows the proper OCI. If you choose to accept an OCI offer from an employer, click on the Accept Pre-Select button. Once you have done so, the button will be replaced with Pre-Select Accepted. If you choose to decline an OCI offer from an employer, click on the Decline button. Once you have done so, the button will be replaced with Pre-Select Declined. Proceed with caution during this step. You cannot modify a decision to accept pre-select or decline an interview once you have made your selection. For more details on this process, refer to the appendix in the Toronto Summer Recruitment and OCI Instructions for 2L students. Employers will often send a waitlist, so if a student declines an OCI offer, a new opportunity opens up. Students sometimes ask whether they should accept an OCI from an employer where they have been waitlisted. If you are interested in working for that employer, then the answer is a resounding yes. It does not matter whether you were on the wait list. What matters is that you have an opportunity to meet with the employer. The difference between candidate 20, 21, 5, 30, or even 40 are negligible. Go in and do an amazing interview. Knock their socks off. This is your time to shine. If new interview opportunities become available, we will contact you to make the new interview offer by email. If we don't hear back from you, we will follow up with you by phone. It is important for you to be checking emails and your phone immediately following the decline deadline right through the following day. If you require accommodations for equity reasons for your OCI interviews, make the request as early as possible by meeting with Stacey Keene in the CPDC. All requests must be made by the deadline. Here's a pro tip for using the source. When checking your OCI interview offers or OCI schedule, don't refresh your browser if you are already logged in before the display goes live. You must log in at the specified time in order for the information to be correctly displayed in your account. If you cannot see what you think should be displayed or accessible in your account, log out and then log back in. If you are still having trouble, contact the CPDC and we will troubleshoot the issue with you. OCIs are scheduled using an algorithm in the source. Where your OCI interviews end up in the schedule is random. To view your OCI schedule, access the on-campus interview section of the source. Ensure that the session field shows the proper OCI. Next, click on the Scheduled Interviews tab. This will bring you to your OCI schedule. Remember to take careful note of your schedule and bring a printed copy of it with you to OCIs. To give you a sense of what the schedule for the day looks like, here's a sample. There is a 20-minute break in the morning, a 40-minute break for lunch, and a 20-minute break in the afternoon. A sample schedule will be available in the source document library to help you take note of your interview times. Keep in mind that it is perfectly manageable to have back-to-back OCIs. Each interview lasts 17 minutes, and you will have a 3-minute break before your next interview. 3 minutes may not seem like much time, but trust me, it works out just fine. Looking far ahead into the future, Once OCIs are completed, the next phase is the Toronto Interview Week, where employers will invite candidates to interview on-site in Toronto. A couple of things to note. Call days are actually a misnomer. Call day is typically a half hour and starts sharp on the hour, so be ready. For tips on preparing for Toronto Interview Week, plan to attend our student panel. We have several information sessions designed to help you prepare to navigate this recruitment process. To register for any of these events, RSVP through the source under the Events tab. Details about Mock Interview Week sign-up will be available to you in September. If you have any questions about this presentation, you can come ask them in person at our upcoming Toronto OCI application process question and answer session, or by booking an appointment with the CPDC through the source. You can also reach out to us by email. I hope you now feel better equipped to make a decision about whether or not you will be participating in OCIs, and you have a little bit more information about how to navigate the process. Good luck.